I'm glad you're back to another episode of In the Arena Podcast, because this season we are helping business owners scale and grow in 2026. And in this conversation with Kyle Evans, my really good friend, is here to talk to you about how you can use behavioral assessments from a leadership capacity to help you grow. He's a coach at Keller Williams, and he's a really great, inspirational guy. You're going to learn a lot. Tune in. It's a great episode that will help you grow in 2026.
The credit belongs to the man who is in the arena. Dare greatly and build intentionally. Welcome to In the Arena Podcast. Welcome to In the Arena Podcast. Today we've one of my really good friends, longtime good friend, one of probably the oldest friends that I still hang out with, Mr. Kyle Evans.
Dang, dude.
Yeah, special.
Not a lot of people get that intro, Kyle. How does that make you feel?
Pretty warm and fuzzy, but you as a DC, you wouldn't know what that means. But we'll get to that soon.
I don't. I'll stab you later. It's fine.
So on the topic, today we are going to be talking again about how behavioral assessments can be used in your life personally and professionally and to scale your business, right? Mm-hmm. We're speaking to a business owner, real estate professional, or anybody else who has goals and dreams and wants to do that more efficiently and scale instead of just growing uncontrollably and stressfully and chaotically. So
What is that?
Yeah.
Nobody experiences that in business.
It's funny, every time you get to that ceiling where you got to break through, it feels chaotic, and then you have to level up and break through that again. And this is one way to do that, using behavioral assessments. And so we use the DISC assessment. We've had a guy named Craig Sweeney on last episode, and we talked a lot about the Working Genius. Familiar with the Working Genius?
Negative Ghostwriter.
Okay, interesting. You should look into it. But today we're going to focus on the DISC and then the KPA, which is the Keller Personality Assessment.
Nailed it.
Got it. Okay.
Look at you.
Yeah.
I know. I'm
Winning.
proud.
Yeah.
Winning.
The KPA is Keller Williams.
Keller Williams. Yeah.
Keller Williams.
So we use the Abelson DISC.
We do.
DISC assessment's a broad assessment, but people who put it out there. Abelson was doing a lot of Keller Williams, and then Gary Keller, who I think y'all still use a DISC a lot in certain ways, but Gary Keller was like, well, let's tailor an assessment to real estate professionals and also one that will rank you based on the list of job duties that real estate professionals can have and just rank you which one you will do, which one you're most likely to be more naturally fit for based on your assessment.
Like a closing or like a transaction coordinator
versus a
Yeah, so
leader.
it'll
that
spit
kind of
that
thing.
out and give you like a big list. But also, it's not just like the DISC, which is like 4 main quadrants, right? It's really just kind of diving into 10 or so personality traits that make up who you are.
Yeah.
Got it.
I like it more.
Yeah, you like the KPA more? Oh, yeah. Especially for what you do. So just kind of lay the foundation of the conversation, right? Kyle is not being interviewed today. He is entering into a conversation with us talking about assessments, and we bring in people who use them and are experts. I don't know if you call yourself an expert. I would call yourself.
I don't call myself an expert in anything.
Pseudo, close enough to an expert.
So humble.
Yep. Very humble.
If someone is telling you that they're an expert, that scares me.
for sure.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. I don't trust anybody.
It's the expert paradox, right? True experts know how much they don't know and how much more there is to learn, like that. Someone who knows it all, Dunning-Kruger effect.
Bye.
Hero dreams of sushi. Hero, one of the most famous sushi restaurants that you can only hold 4 people in Japan. And he literally is like the biggest, best sushi maker, like omakase. And he says that he's not a master. And he literally is.
He's in a book called Ikigai.
Yeah.
And now I just want sushi.
And now we're friends.
Can you help me understand what makes you a sushi chef better than the other? It's all raw. You cut it.
Oh, buddy.
But it's a whole thing, man.
Jared.
Wow.
I'm a sushi chef. I was on the boat, caught a fish, cut it, ate it.
Okay, let's put it this way. There's the biggest Japanese fish trade, the best fish, tuna, goes to that guy. No one can even get the high quality than Hero.
He's probably
he's the guy.
a high D.
I think
Probably.
the guy in that, dude, I do not think he's a high D.
No, he's probably high
he's
C.
probably like SC, like all day.
Yeah.
But there was a guy
It's
that
crazy.
was working for him that spent 3 years just working on how he made an egg omelet. Not even to the sushi
Right.
yet. He was just still working on eggs. 3 years focused on this.
Yeah, that's not a D.
It's dude, watch the documentary.
What is
Like I made 5 egg
what
omelets
does Ace
yesterday.
Ventura say? That's your design of achievement. That took you 30 years to achieve. I don't like it anymore.
I haven't heard that reference.
Oh, that's such a good.
Wait, is that from Ace Ventura? Yeah.
It took you 30 years to achieve. I don't like it anymore. Anyway, let's lay the foundation for Kyle Evans here, my guy. So what I love about you when we first met each other, right, in college, we're both doing things, having fun. And then we met again after college. I was getting into real estate law, you were a real estate agent. You were at Keller Williams, which is where you're still at now, on a high performing team. And we were doing business together, and we were having fun. I mean, I remember walking in one day, y'all were having y'all's team call session, and I walked in with a case of Red Bull and some power bars, and I put them on the table, and I just walked out of the building because I knew y'all were in y'all's element. But a lot of what Keller Williams does is or any real estate professional, right? They think anybody can be that type of person who's on the phone and calling and being that high DI personality ID that likes to get in front of people and do that. So you were doing that, right? And so what is your DISC assessment? Well, before you start,
What do you think? Let's get
I think
weird.
you're an ID.
You think I'm an ID? I think you're right.
Yeah, I think you're an ID.
Yeah.
And so, like, if you don't know what the DISC assessment is, it's an assessment that helps you assess what your natural behavioral styles are and the way that you would interact and react to certain situations, in professional or personal. And we use it
in general.
in general, and we use it for a lot of things, right? And so you can use it for work, or you can use it for personal.
Please use for both.
Personal self-awareness. But, as you got into business, we started talking and you really had an aspiration to get into leadership and coaching and speaking. And Keller Williams has a track for that. There's only a few people in the world or country that have gotten to the level that you are at Keller Williams, and you are a master certified. What is it called?
Clock it, as the kids say.
Yes, clock it.
Dylan,
We
my
do
daughter
that.
does
We
say
clock
it.
over here.
Clock it.
Clock
we
it,
do that.
Dylan.
International master faculty, and then I get to do a thing called Bold, which means I just get to I'm a good teacher. Get to travel around and speak and talk and hang out with people.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
It's fun.
Which it wasn't. It would mean like when you first got started, it was something that you aspired to do. It took a lot of hard work, and you made it happen, right? And I think that it's cool. And I heard you speak a couple weeks ago, and just to be honest, where you were then, which I think you'll admit, to where you are now, totally different Kyle.
Sure.
And it was very impressive the way that you where you've come from. So I'm glad to have you on here, buddy, to talk about behavioral assessments.
Glad to be here. We'll see how we do.
Yeah.
When you got to live what you preach, you tend to become better.
Yes. There's this good rule of thumb that I live by, and I've watched it show up many times in my life, professionally and personally. It's when you want to master something, teach it.
Yeah.
And so part of one of the things I do, it's not just about sales or real estate or leadership. It's about just living a bigger, fuller life. And so guess what? I get to go practice all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
How do I do this?
But were you living that life before you got to where you're at? Like, you were trying to be that person before you were there, right?
Gary Keller, founder Keller Williams, he's got a mustache and like $4 billion, right? Super smart guy. He talks
I have
about
a mustache, but not the 4 billion.
it's hidden well. It must be the lighting. Good job. One of the things he talks about, the mistake that most people make, is the person that they are now and the person that they want to be, and they think there's a big gap between this. But really, if they start showing up like the person they want to be, that gap closes. And so that's, to answer your question, is what I started to do. I figured out who I wanted to be, what kind of behavior I wanted to emulate, and then I just started practicing that. And before you know it, you become to be that.
Yeah.
You are you.
Yeah.
It's one of the things people always question, how to find balance. And that's the first thing I tell them is you have to be your authentic self.
Yes.
And the unfortunate thing is people don't want to spend time figuring out what exactly that is.
No, they don't.
What are my values? What are my beliefs? What are my priorities? And the discipline it requires to do that. But when you start showing up as yourself, then even when things are hard, you're at peace.
You can suffer joyfully.
Ugh, amen. Yes. I shared it this week. There was a graphic that said, for most high performers, joy and intensity coexist.
Yes.
All the time. And that's what you should strive for.
They're not separate, right? And I think that's where a lot of people get it wrong. They look for this illusion of happiness from fairy tales and social media and the things that people portray. And true happiness is really just like inner peace, like you're talking about. It's joy. It's I'm okay with where I am. I'm to quote Teddy Roosevelt, right? I'm pursuing myself in a worthwhile endeavor. And I think there's joy in that.
Hey, we quoted Teddy Roosevelt.
What is it?
Man in the arena quote. That
That's
is in
part
the
of that
arena.
quote. Yeah.
And
It's not the critic who counts.
It's not.
right.
And I think that a lot of people forget the idea of like choose your hard too.
Yep.
Because while other people like look at things that you do and they're like, I don't know how that person does that. I'm like, well, it's hard. So it's hard, but probably there's something in your life that's hard too. That if you swap doing what I was doing, you're just replacing hard with hard. And which one do you want to have? And I'd rather have a hard life striving for greatness or whatever it is, and not in the hard life of not.
Everything's hard,
Heck yeah.
right? Being single is hard. Being married is hard. Being rich is hard. Being poor is hard. Being out of shape is hard. Being in shape is hard. Like everything's hard. You just got to figure out, like you said, what is your authentic alignment? What do you actually desire?
Choose your hard.
Yeah.
So the one of the things I remember, and I think that Lauren will appreciate this. Two things I'm about to say. One, seeing you. Two things. Watching your social media account of you training in the weight vest and running in the morning and stuff like that. You know, it was motivating. Whenever I was quit my fitness journey for a few years, I would watch you and be like, I'm gonna do that again one day, and now I'm back at it. So it's cool. Her husband does that every day too. Runs every day, so it's cool. And then also, one of my favorite Kyle Evans stories was whenever
Buckle up, Buttercup. Here we go.
When you were back when you were in Baton Rouge on the team and you were working hard. One of the hobbies that you picked up was gymnastics tumbling at a ripe old age of 30. Until he
Gymnastics
blew
at
his
30?
Achilles out doing a back
it
handspring.
wasn't a hobby, right? So at the time I was
Kyle, I'm married to an ID as well, so I totally appreciate where this is going.
it was because I'm a stick like cold peanut butter, right? And so I had to I hadn't learned to really love it or the journey of it. And so I had to find cool things to do to kind of keep me interested. And so the year before that was run a half marathon. And I was looking for a new one. And it was like, hey, let me see if I can learn how to do a backflip. So I got a coach and everything, man. I would check out of the office, go do some gymnastics, and then come back. And then as a true 30-year-old, I shattered my ankle.
Yes, naturally.
That was nice.
But I love that you leaned in, you know, again, married to an ID, and we'll get into that as well. But like the interest that y'all have in so many things and your ability to jump in that room and own it and everybody love you in it. It's so fun to watch. I mean, it's distracting and incredibly annoying and
welcome.
so fun to watch.
It's our gift.
It truly is. It truly
Did you ever
is.
master that backflip?
Nope. Nope. My wife made me quit. After I broke my ankle, she was like, seriously, this is done. I was like, but it's not.
I haven't done it yet.
And she was like, yes, it is. I was like, got
That's
it.
Jason's motorcycle dream that I'm trying to temper. He's always done backflips and still right now in his 40s will do a gainer off of any cliff, anything that he
that's awesome. Love
finds.
that
And
for him.
so every now and then I'm like, do you need to go skydiving? What do you need to do?
That's
like
fun,
I
too.
can feel his energy like coming up. I'm like, what do you need to do? What do you need to go do it?
Like, how about crocheting? Can
Right?
we start
No,
that?
it's not gonna help him.
Hell no.
So the Keller Williams, as you've gone through the training and on that team you were on, you moved from performer to manager to leader to whatever your role was with the listing side, right? And so you're a listing manager on that team, and you were dealing with a lot of people, personalities, and behavioral assessments. And what was y'all's process of finding and locating talent with the behavioral assessment, the KPA or the DISC?
So anybody that would come into our world, we would have them at minimum do a KPA, which is the Keller Personality Assessment, like you nailed so well. And then if that warranted, we would even do a DISC too to learn more about them. But with assessments, and we'll see how well this goes out the gate, I think they are a tool and not necessarily the rule.
Yeah.
Tool, not the rule.
Because one of the things I've learned is if you only trust what's on a piece of paper, people will always surprise you,
Yeah.
Amen.
right?
Every time.
Every time. Every time.
Every time.
So yeah, we would take it, go through it, and we would do this process called validating and verifying it. So we would walk through it step by step, ask them questions about it, and see if it was in alignment or not, because maybe they clicked a wrong button. Maybe they were distracted. Maybe their kid was throwing up on them while they were taking it, which happened before.
For sure.
Maybe they
And-
lack total self-awareness and they don't find it accurate, but you can tell that it is.
Or you've taken
That's
it
one
from-
thing actually that
you're
I
like-
like more about the KPA is you can't shape it to your own will. There are DISC questions out there that if you kind of know where you want it to end up, you can tweak it.
Oh, I could take the disc and be whatever I want.
Then be
Right
whatever.
now,
At this
yeah,
point-
with us certified for sure. It doesn't serve
You
us
just
to take
choose
the
the
disc.
opposite of what
Correct.
you would agree with. I mean, that's just like
The KPA you can't because the questions aren't anything.
you wanna
It's
know my
like, Hey,
favorite?
move the shape around.
Dude, that
Oh,
was
it's
the
like- oh,
coolest.
it's like
That was
dynamic?
the coolest
Oh.
part of the assessment. The KPA has two shapes, and you have to state whether they're the same or different.
Yeah.
And they're just looking at a three-dimensional
why
object
they're
in a different.
different?
You have to look at the
You
same or
say,
different.
Are they same or different?
And you're looking at it from a different angle to
It's
determine
timed.
whether it's the same or different. The coolest.
Wow,
thing.
that's crazy.
You are so visual. You
Oh, it
loved
was
that
so much
part.
fun. I crushed it. I think, and in times you can
Crushed
only
it.
get through a certain number of them. I did. I got through more of
I don't
those
think
questions.
there's a right or wrong, but he's like, I crushed
I'm
it.
a hand, like visual, like hands visual,
Yeah.
like see it. Like if like you tell me
That's one of the
something
personality
auditorily, I
things.
can't. I'm
I
It's
know.
you, Jonah, would have high
you do.
spatial awareness.
Well, like, and honestly, true. And Stephanie,
true.
my wife, used to argue with me about like whether that piece of furniture would fit against that wall. And I'm like, I don't even have to measure it. I can walk in there, and just like Taylor, we can look at that and say that's going to fit right there. And she's like, no, there's no way. Like, dude, the refrigerator, we got a refrigerator delivered to our house, and was going to go in between. I set up everything the way it was supposed to. The dumbbell rack, the outside refrigerator going right next to it, and she puts it across the thing. I'm like, why did you do that? Well, if that's too small of a spot, I'm like,
It fits.
watch, and I'm like carrying it on my back, and I
Do y'all see this reaction?
Oh,
Went in there.
Like there's things because we're both very decisive people that I just don't touch, and where our furniture goes is one of them.
Yes,
That's good.
It took
For
me a long
this
time to
reaction.
get this here. Yeah,
Well,
How many
his
times did you
spatial
come into
awareness
this
is
show?
All the
really
time.
high.
It changes a
it hasn't
lot.
changed in a minute.
Like zero
been good.
opinion, Jake.
It's been
Love
good.
it. Love it.
Just let him do it. He'll be fine.
That's right.
So, now I'm less about me, more about this. What
You are about this.
you're right. What were some of the validating questions? Because we do the same thing, right? We're having we don't. I don't think that we do this as intently in the interview. So I'm interested to hear what y'all were doing in the interview, because we're just like saying, how do you feel about it? Did you agree with it? Yes or no? And we kind of take their reaction to whether they may have any self-awareness based on the fact that, like, if they're like, oh, I liked all of it except for the 3 things that I didn't like about it, right?
Sure.
Then you have that means a good indication of your self-awareness. But how did y'all use it?
If you want to elevate that immediately, and you may already be doing this, it's instead of yes, no, maybe, it's scale of 1 to 10. 10 being the highest, 1 being the lowest, right? So, hey, well, it's a 7. Great. What makes it a 7 and not a 10?
Yeah.
What would have to change in that last sentence or this piece of it to make it a 10 or to make it a 1, right? And so then now what you're getting them to do is author it from their own perspective, which is helping give you valuable insight to what it is, as opposed to being like, yes, no, cool. All right, see you later.
Or see if they lack reasoning skills.
Yeah. And another thing, in school, whenever you also give it to somebody that they know and love, and it's like, hey, ask them to rate it 1 to 10 and see if how that
I
is.
love that validation. Is bring it home to your partner, your spouse, significant other, your mother, father, and then tell me what they thought. And that is my favorite part. Because we have our opinion, you have your opinion, then we show them, they come back and they're like, never mind, they said everything is 100% accurate.
That's my favorite. Because by the letter of the law, we're supposed to do them individually, right? And just one-on-one, hey, let's sit here and do it. Because sometimes people can show up weird when there's more people or more cooks in the kitchen. One time I did it with, I was doing a husband and his wife was there, and she listened to the whole thing. And so it was really cool to watch, let's say y'all tour them. It was cool for him to be like, yeah, that's totally me. And her sitting back a little bit going,
That's funny.
he'll be like 10, and she'll be like,
I love it.
Well, yeah, when you go through pre-K and the Catholic Church, they actually give you an assessment, and the priest goes through it with you from a spiritual perspective, which
what'd
is
you
also
get? What was your score?
I honestly don't remember, but a priest that me and Stephanie met with more recently gave us a different assessment, and she took it, I took it, and we sat down together, and like, you know, very aware of our dynamic. Whenever she's a 10 in this category, I'm a 1. Like, I think there was empathy. But makes sense.
Are you a 1?
I track with that.
You can't be
I
a
heard-
1 in
he-
empathy, dude.
I
You
care
gotta be a
about
little
you.
higher. I know. I feel like you're
You're
at
right.
least a 4 or 5.
It is definitely a 1.3.
Yeah.
It's definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely 1.3.
Thanks. I'm
Guess
rounding
it just
it
have
up.
that effect
He
on you.
is so caring, though. He is. You
Yeah.
do. You care about everybody. But yes, it doesn't show up as empathy.
Yeah.
Shows up as I'm going to support you, and I'm going to do these things for you.
What do you need? What do you need?
What do you need?
What do you need? What do you need? What do you need?
A lot.
And so, yeah, so I think that using it intensely in the interview process is huge. I mean, and to even walk, like we've even walked in the door with somebody and we warned them that this is going to be a struggle for you for this role.
Yeah.
For these reasons. And I know whenever you have people that come in to a real estate team, people in all walks of life, right? Moms, dads, or older retirees that are going to their second career, young people right out of school, and everybody has a little different behavioral assessment. Is there, I know the answer for us, like when we're putting people in a role, we're trying to make sure that the role within the organization fits the behavioral assessment and the person will fit in that role well, or we give them a lot of guardrails and perspective on whether it's going to do well or not.
Yeah.
At Keller Williams, now that we've kind of graduated a little bit, I think, from the past where you see real estate agents where it's like goal driven, I'm going to tell you what your goals are. We're going to push. Now people are pulling back a little bit being like, what are your goals? Does your goals align within my world? And if it does, how can I help you get there and work around it to get to, where your personality fits? Is that
I think you're giving a lot of people a lot of credit, and I love that.
okay? That's what I was going to ask. Does it actually win? Like, what way works more? What have you seen work better?
I think there's a really smart fella. Don't know his name, but he said there's more than one way to skin a cat. What works? You name it.
Yeah.
Like there's so many different models out there, and I think that's what I love
Amen.
about business, right? It's like
every tool,
Every tool.
Like, and people say, and I'm like, I want you to know, I'm not trying to give you a new tool. All three of these are the same, but this one isn't landing with you. This one isn't landing with you. What resonates with you?
that's right.
That's it.
So to your point, though, I think what you just established was saying that there are a lot of people who are bringing a ton of awareness, and I
No,
don't know if that's
it's
the
not.
case.
It's not accurate.
The
I
people
wish
are not
it
bringing
was.
that much bringing that much
Awareness, yeah,
Yeah, they're not coming to the table
Mm-hmm.
seeing themselves clearly,
correct.
or most of the time their environment clearly.
Or the people in their world.
Correct.
And I mean, if you're, this is something that we've talked about a lot too. It's like, at a certain point, like there's this, and we can flesh this out on this conversation. There's
do
a
it.
leadership like, and a performance in the organization. Like there's got to be a place where they cross where it's like, okay, like we're going to help
In order
people
to scale.
get there. And we're going to use behavioral assessment. We're going to give you the grace and like work with you to become the right fit for this spot and grow up to where you're aware. But then you get to a certain point to where, okay, like we've given enough time in that world to like, we got to move on to somebody else, or you're not able to grow into the way we want you to do. Like Dawn Kazazu told me this one time, and I don't know if this is related, but it just kind of reminded me. She's like, your career is like a ladder or a staircase, right? The people that are on the bottom of the staircase and walk with you to step 2, 3, and 4 may not be the ones that go 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, because you may be at your 4 may be the top of their ladder. Right. And so they may have gotten there or things change in their life, and you have to be comfortable with, okay, that's where you want to be. That's your capacity or your ceiling or where you're comfortable at. I'm going to continue to move on. Right. Like, where do you get to that point with somebody? As a leader, you have to get to a point where it's like, okay, I have to like let you be where you're at and then move on.
Yes and no, right? It's your interpretation of it. So, because that's your trajectory, your scale, and your ladder. They also have their own ladder.
Yeah.
So I don't look at it as leaving a person behind. I look at it as making sure the person is on the right freaking staircase. And as a leader, it's your job to uncover that vision for them, right? Because they have to do that for themselves and be bought in it for themselves to choose the right staircase. And so while, yes, it's nice to say that, and there's a comprehension for your own staircase, I don't think as a leader you can apply that across the board, because our job, and if you look at how we define leadership for Arena and our values, is to uncover another's potential.
Yeah.
It's not for you to meet my expectation. I need to communicate my expectation for what I need for this particular role, but I still want to uncover, if that's not your role, what your best potential is in another, right? And so that's why you'll see sometimes the shifts in the organization, or the person that we said, I'm sorry, no, this isn't going to be for you. And 3 months later, I get a message that said, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Like, you helped me out a lot. So I don't look at it ever as leaving someone behind, but just uncovering their potential, you know?
So let me ask you this then. As a, like, what disc profile you think would be the best for a leader?
To whom?
To whoever.
To whom, Jared? Like that
You're
is what
trying
we
to
get
put a
at.
box
You're trying
on
to put a box
people.
that can't happen.
It's not
Who
real.
do I think is the best leader? Me, because I'm a DC. Like, and you
No, I'm
ask
not
any
saying
DC that, or
way.
you ask a
If you're
DI,
people-
they say that.
If you're a people-oriented human being and you're below the line, if you're an S and a C, an I or an S, those tend to be below the bottom half of the circle.
Yeah. But if that person
people-oriented.
has a desire to impact and enable, like, use your other assessment polls. Let's jump over now to the working genius, right? And the person that can galvanize, the person that can enable. Sometimes their leadership level is training. They could still be the top leader because they know that they need to cover their blind spots with somebody else that's a driver. But that driver doesn't necessarily have to be the leader, because they may not be able to relate to people properly.
And that's my point. Like, I mean, if you're a task-oriented type of a person, like we are, as a DC,
you are a very people-oriented
DI
person as well.
Yeah, but I'm on the top half of the line. Is that my D carries?
Your I is like 98.
100%. But my entire mindset is accomplishing something, which is the task, and I like doing it with
but
people.
you do it with people.
For
right.
sure. I get that, but it's all. But when
You don't have to be with people or on a disc with people to be a great leader.
I know. I'm just,
And vice versa.
Right. Yeah. I agree with that. I'm saying
Because you know your blind spots and you find the complementary styles to make sure that they're covered. Like that is, and that's why, yeah, it would be easy to be like, I know how this person can lead and I know how I would do this. So if I get somebody that is like me, this is going to be really easy. But guess the frick what? How many DCs do they have in the world if I look for that?
Not a ton.
It's not a lot. I think he said it was like 4% or something. So like the likelihood of me finding more of them. Killers. We're all killers. We're all in jail. We're dead.
We're dead. Yeah. The number's shrinking on a daily basis.
I promise I haven't murdered anyone today.
Sure.
But again, you're dealing with a population and the majority of them are going to have a high S.
Yeah.
And so that's what you're looking for. So do they have the desired impact? Are they galvanizers? Are they enablers? Or, someone that wants to have an impact on another person that could be self-aware enough to say, this is my gift. I understand the vision and this is where I want to go. And the key, which none of these say, is, am I a good communicator? Mm-hmm. It tells you how you like to be communicated, how you don't, which you should use that from a personal awareness standpoint. But the day that you decide you want to be a good communicator, not to your own pride, but so that somebody else can comprehend you, that's when you start being a better leader.
I guess the crossroads that I'm talking about, it's like when you're thinking about the performance of your company, where you want to go with your company, and then you have to deal with the people, which you always have people involved, right?
Right.
So you always have the people you got to deal with. But like the person who is the DC or the person who's a D, highest traits of D, not a DC, highest traits of D, highest traits of C, and they're driving or they're task oriented. Are those people going to be more inclined to be a leader who is more empathetic and wanting to communicate better?
Not if they can't relate to people and get them behind them. Does every business need a driver? Yes. Does the driver have to be the leader? No. So like you are correct that the driver has to be there, but that driver doesn't have to be the leader. And in fact, a lot of drivers cannot lead most personalities because they won't slow down enough and not be self-absorbed enough to be able to get those people behind them with the trust.
Make a clarifying point.
Let me make a clarifying point. If you'll rewind to where we started earlier, the disc is a tool,
it's a
not
tool,
the
not
rule.
A rule.
For sure.
Yeah. Perfect.
I want to be clear though. I'm trying to make the argument that the I and the S are going to be better and more inclined to be a leader, communicator, people oriented, build you up, coach you up, get you there, than a DC. Did I make that clear? I wasn't trying to argue for the DC being a leader. I was making an argument.
You're painting with a wide brush.
I really don't know. Right. I'm not going to say that. It's so individual. That's why I like, what we do right now in our organization is we start this process of one-on-one leadership development, right? Mm-hmm. And that's where we're assessing those things. And maybe getting your opinion on what they're like, but we don't go into those meetings of, this is how you need to lead, Jonah, right? Where it's more of like, what are you feeling this week? Mm-hmm. How do you best use your gifts? What are your blind spots? Who fills those blind spots? Mm-hmm. Oh, great. Thank you, Taylor, for filling those blind spots, right? Those are the things that we're working through so that you can understand and then say, are you properly communicating your vision? Crap, I did it again. Right. So I'm going to do better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think
be careful, buddy.
No. Our
really
meetings are
Don't be careful.
I'm not wearing stilettos today. It's not even harm you.
Today.
You're in a safe
think,
place.
Like sometimes it's hard. I feel like putting in a box. I just feel like if you enjoy, it's like does it come down somewhat to do you enjoy leading people too?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like you have to kind of want that. Because if you don't want to do anything, then you're not going to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Especially you. And John and Jared Kyle. Eyes with an individualistic motivator. Ever study that one? It's a fun one.
But that's the thing. I think like if you know that if you want to do it and you know you have to do it, then you work on it. Like, but I don't think everybody putting it in a box is possible either.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
agree.
I don't know.
The best
people oriented, you probably enjoy people more, but maybe like that. The driver is probably like on your end. You're like get to the point, right?
Internally, the whole conversation.
Yeah. I actually think, and here's a counter idea on it, because an I is people oriented. I actually think being an I does not make me a good leader. It makes me a worse leader.
Yeah.
Because one of the traits, one of the main traits is you want to be liked.
You want to be liked.
And that is not a good leader.
It's a huge issue.
If you're not willing to be not someone's favorite, then how are you actually going to show up for them the best way, or have the tough conversation, or guide them or lead them?
Right. There has to be such a strong level of respect in those type of relationships that make both people comfortable in those scenarios.
Yeah,
Without
I
a
struggled
doubt.
with that hard in the beginning of my career because people would say stuff like, "Oh, you're a natural leader" and stuff. I'm like, not really.
I'm a natural influencer.
Yeah, natural influencer, exactly. Definitely not a natural leader, because I wanted to be liked. And my coach told me for a long time, "Was like, hey, you have a problem with self-worth." I was like, "No, surely not. I used to work at the bars. I'm cool."
I am so glad you are saying this from this perspective because people don't believe me when I tell them like your desire to be liked is also what makes you so self-conscious and makes you care the most about what people think about you. But high eyes are the first ones to say, I don't care what somebody thinks about me because they're thinking about it. It's like the same person that's like, I don't like the drama. Then why are you mentioning drama?
Yeah, then you're the one who brought up the drama.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a natural thing, but that goes back to what we're talking about. Is like the cool thing about the disc is, in my opinion, my humble opinion, is that it's just an awareness tool. Like know thyself, right? And so like the better you know yourself, the better you're able to butterfly around this world. Like, are you, when you land on something, are you leaving it better than when you came, or are you knocking a bunch of shit down and making a mess?
Yeah. Conquer yourself and the world lies at your feet.
See?
Somebody gave me a sticker that said, "It wasn't my fault I made a mess. Somebody left me unattended."
I think somebody in this company gave you that.
Yeah, nice. I'm realizing now. Try to make it a better place.
You do.
Just go really fast.
I think you are. Yeah, and it's okay to go fast because again, knowing myself. So let's go back to the behavior assessment, right? I'm a ID, so driver, dominant. Let's go get it done. I'm also like, hey, let me go talk, influence, be with people. And I know that one of the things she described is sometimes being a high D does not make you a good leader because you have to run instead of slow down and be like, hey, did you get that? Do you understand where we're going? Do you understand the vision? Do you understand the next steps? And so what did I do? I aligned myself with someone who's a very high SC, and she is like off the charts SC. And guess what I've also done? Be humble enough to take direction from her and let her tell me when I'm going too fast or when I need clarity. And so I think
I'm
part
looking
of it,
in the mirror.
yeah, there you go. I think the best leaders, in my opinion, know their weak spots, and they're also humble enough to find badass people who are really good in those things and bring them into their world.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, putting people around you for sure. And some of the times I struggle with the idea of like, all right, put those people around you so that I can go run fast and I can be that person. And but like the slowdown is the hard part where you're leading task oriented. Because I'm a DI, I'm the opposite, right? So yes, I do care what people think about me, and I do like to make people happy. And but then if things are hitting the fan, like I'm running. Like I'm okay with hurting some people's feelings or saying things that might come across as not nice or that I'm being mean or I'm being direct or I'm being emotional, but like I'm ready to go.
Right.
And especially whenever you get tired, right? Like you just want to go fast. That's all I want to do right now. Like I have this feeling right now where I just want to go run through that wall, even though I've gotten like 3 hours of sleep.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it. We don't
It's
want to
just
get
being
hurt.
in my presence, man. You're welcome.
Aw, all that good eye energy.
Yeah.
I think the next level of that is you find the person, right, that compliments you. You're humble enough to take direction, but then it's trusting them, especially when we have a high enough D that you're that intense, that they are approaching it different than you, and that's okay. Right, because that's the other part is D's still want that element of control. And so when you get that complementary personality, you're like, but they're not doing it my way, and my way is the best way. And so coming together for what y'all agree is the best way is usually what's in the middle, right? Just like with politics, you don't trust anybody that's an extremist. There's usually a policy in the middle that's best for everybody. I feel it's the same thing for personalities. And that's why when businesses can come together and create the processes and procedures that you know, everybody agrees to, it calms that.
Yeah. And then like and we don't have any SCs sitting here with us, right? ID, DC,
Behind the camera.
ID, DI.
That's
and
where they like
Taylor.
to be usually,
Yeah.
behind the
But
camera.
doing really consistent, steady tasks that are really that are loyal and getting things done. Like all those people are 100% necessary to make the whole wheel go round and circle and accomplish all the things you need to accomplish for sure. But again, we've talked about all the weaknesses from our perspective as an ID or a DI or a DC. But like from an S standpoint, like what makes them a strong leader? What makes them struggle as a leader too?
They won't name it, claim it, and tame it, dog.
They don't want to take about
Inaction. You know, when there is confusion, it's a waiting game, waiting for direction.
Analysis paralysis.
Yep. Yeah, staying close to their close-knit group of people. So they need somebody, like when I think of a company and somebody comes to me and I immediately do their assessment and they want to scale their business and they fall in that category, I'm like, we have to find you a driver, we got to find you some energy, and we got to find you a decision maker, right? If they have a high enough C, they will make the decision, just not quick enough.
Yeah,
So you can
for
compliment
sure.
a driver. So it's just, again, blind spots.
But yeah, I mean, I think that goes back to awareness, like we're talking about. It's like, what is the best personality type? The one who's the most adaptive and the most aware.
Yeah.
That's the
Amen.
truth.
And then, like, if you're trying to scale a business, though, right? And I mean, assuming scaling means growing without having to continue to add new resources and
Yeah.
being more efficient and continuing to accomplish your goals more and more without having to add more.
Yeah, revenue outpacing your growth and expenses.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Arena Collective.
Like us.
Yeah. But when you have enough people involved, right? And if like we've done a great job of having our disc wheel pretty spread out, right? It's like from the partners at Arena, if you want to even include lettuce in that, like we all touch every quadrant and we all have a mix. And if you add all our people in there, we have, again, we're going to have everybody in every category. How do you let your drivers run and drive and your S is S and your I is I and your CC so that you can grow? Because there's like it's kind of like even with the working genius, right? If all the wheels are spinning in the right direction and there's a little bit of everything, it just moves more efficiently. How do you keep everybody going in the same direction? Because if you have your D's and I's going fast and your S's and C's trying to pull back and go slow, how do you have everybody living in their world, in their element, and operating at the high level?
Who's calling the shots?
When you have a driver calling the shots, the S's and the C's, I'm sure, are
So if the driver's calling the shots, then the question is it a good leader or a bad leader? So then are they aware and adaptive? Because a driver
communication and
could
SOPs.
light it on down.
The answer is communication and SOPs, right? Are you able to communicate it to a level that they're bought in, communicate it to a level that it's comprehensible so that it isn't a fear? And is there a level of trust in that decision making, right? Because an S is also incredibly loyal. And if you prove to a C that you have a good track record, take Becky, for example. How often does she say it? Like, this is really fast, but if that's what Lauren wants, like, okay, because we've worked together for how many years that she's like, this will work out. I trust enough to this extent. She's probably going home and looking up a few things because her C is pretty high.
Because she's a C.
Right? And that's okay. And she asked those questions, and it's a beautiful thing. But can you communicate exactly what the vision is to where they can be bought in?
Like, for instance, I'll give you a real life example. We're launching, as you know, a bunch of different locations. Like, so we're growing the real estate team across the nation, and Lyric, our director of operations, high SC, she messaged the other day and she said, stop. We were like, what do you mean? She goes, yellow light, no more new expansions until I iron out all these things. And me as the high D leader, I said, okay.
So what do you
It's
do?
painful,
What do you
but
do-
painful.
what do
It's
you do
painful,
with your
but you did
time
it
during
for
that
her.
downtime?
Oh, sweetheart, use downtime. No, I just go turn my sight onto the next thing that we can do.
Yeah.
There is no
Yeah.
downtime.
And dive into what's just not new. Like, there's always a relationship to develop or something,
Correct.
a process to be improved in the existing.
I started working
the
on our
existing.
sales Bible. So I have a 410-page document now that's the constellation code on basically how to sell all things real estate and all the different things. So while she's figuring that out, I just go
Or your
put my power
2027
somewhere else.
plan, right? Like, how many nuggets do we have written down? Like, I know I have them, so I know you have them.
all
of like, this is what we're going to do in 2028.
Somebody today,
Right?
Yeah, right.
somebody today was like, "You already thought about 2027." I'm like,
2030.
Think about this. I told this story on my social media and to the team the other day. It's the USS Constitution, right? Old Ironsides. It's been around since the 1800s. It fought in the War of 1812. I think it was 1797 when it was commissioned, but at some point it has to be restored, and it needs old, slow growth white oak to do it, which essentially doesn't exist anymore.
Damn.
So what do they have to do? The Navy decided to plant an orchard, or what do you call it, a grove for it. However, they can't harvest the grove until 2175.
It's that slow growing of
But
It
it'll
takes
be
200 years to harvest
a tree.
That tree.
the tree
That
that is
type of
needed
tree?
to do this,
That's
right?
crazy.
So
But isn't that so indicative of the Constitution?
are you thinking ahead? Like you got
Love
to
it.
be.
I love it. And just the way they were, I'm a nerd out on that. I just think it's crazy how it still applies today.
"What?
Constitution.
The forefathers, they figured it out.
A lot of it, yeah.
I feel like if they were to see what's going on right now, they'd be going, whoa, 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 whoa. what
They
the
are.
hell
They're
is going
also
on.
like probably playing cards though.
Speaking of the
Yeah.
forefathers, interesting stat. Have you guys seen the bar bill from George Washington's going away party?
Yes, it's unreal.
How absurd.
It's like 40
Y'all
bottles of whiskey.
Eyes have so
How many?
much time on your hands.
It's
Y'all
like
are
40
living your
bottles of
personality.
whiskey. It's like
insane.
but they said the people that were working there, they said they went through it all. It is an absurd amount of alcohol.
It's like 50 people, I think,
yeah,
were there.
yeah, it was like
and-
50 people.
Everybody had their own
Better than
bottle.
Fifth?
No, multiple.
Like 60
Multiple
bottles of
bottles.
champagne.
Yeah.
Well, I get that.
whiskey. It
was crazy.
Yeah.
Back
It's
in my
hilarious.
day, boy, I could
Fun,
drink a
yeah,
whole
right?
bottle
Oh,
of
you
bourbon.
think you can booze, son? Come on now. Sit back down here with the forefathers.
Or talk about personalities. There's you can see like old like vintage musicians green room requests. Fascinating. Like Michael Jackson is bizarre, but it's like so specific, and like the private jet is so.
But don't
so
you
specific.
think like it morphed
crazy.
into something like they do that just to be
particular?
weird?
Probably.
Yeah.
There's a counterculture there for sure.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Like we did, we did a
Like
lot of
modern
influencer
ones,
work
probably.
with Brock Beauty on all the Hairfinity parties and stuff. Sometimes I'd be like, no, just because that's silly.
Because you're being difficult.
No,
Bowl of only green M&Ms. It's like, really?
No.
Come on, Susan.
I
Get
do
it
like the
together.
green M&Ms.
but now that you can buy them all green, it's a lot easier. But
Mm-hmm.
no one's picking that out. I'd be really fat eating the other ones.
They put all the yellow Starburst out. That would make everybody not eat Starburst.
I
I
like
love
the yellows.
yellow.
Starburst?
Yeah,
Yellow
yellows are
Starburst?
good.
I love lemon everything.
You can buy the pink ones, the whole bag.
I
of
don't like the
pinks.
pink.
And the pink are
That's
good.
strawberry, isn't it?
Yeah.
Artificial strawberry.
Those are my
It's
favorite.
artificial
Strawberry
strawberry,
flavor and lemon. And
No,
so
the red
strawberry
ones.
lemonade.
The red ones are good.
that's
I mean,
good.
the go-to are the orange though.
What? You psychopath?
I don't mind orange
I'm
either.
the serial killer, but
Yeah.
he wants the orange
I don't mind
Starburst.
artificial orange at all.
Everybody, the orange is the last.
I used to
me.
be, like I said, thick like cold peanut butter. And the best way to do it was you take two Starbursts. You take a red one and a pink one and you smash them
Clock
together.
it. Clock that smash.
Clock it.
All right, I have to.
Y'all
Starburst
aren't allowed to
smash.
do clock it. I'm pretty sure.
We were not, but it's fun.
I did it on our team call the other day, and the younger girls were like, yes. So I'm going to go ahead and say, viewers, you at home, you decide that I can do it.
My thing is whenever our 23-year-old resident badass on our team and she will like say something, I'll say something and it'll just be like slay.
That's when you really know that you
Still
like
got
said
it.
something
did it.
sick if they
I did it.
actually
Yeah.
agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like the first time she said, I'm like, come again? What
When Dylan does that at home, Jason and I just talk only in her language until she goes upstairs. We have so much fun with it. It's like, I hate y'all.
I was coaching a guy today, and I said something. He goes, man, that was a bar. And I was like, yeah, no big deal.
Like a rap bar?
Yeah.
Yeah, like a bar.
Or like
Not
a
like the bar
Snickers bar.
exam.
Is there, do you think that personality styles, I feel like I know the answer, but how you grew up can heavily influence your personality style? Like, I mean, there's an innate you, right? Like, depending on what you believe, like, I believe we were
Because
created
of the tool
a
rules.
certain way,
Mhm.
or we were created to, intentionally created how we are. But then there has to be
About
some
to go deep on
correlation.
me, huh, Jay?
Yeah. There has to be a correlation of how you grew up into what your personality style is.
The reason that the
Has to be.
disc
How
is
you
not my
respond to stress.
favorite,
Yeah,
yeah, is
right.
because it can change over time. The disc can absolutely change with life events.
every 3 years should we retake it?
Yeah, I mean, it just depends. But to answer your question, I mean, let's just get weird here. I think that humans and how they develop is based on three different things, right? Number one, your parents, how you were raised, what that upbringing was like. Number two, your zip code, coaches, friends, locations, poverty, richness, whatever. And then the third one is what you described is how you were beautifully and wonderfully made.
Yeah.
So I don't know. To answer your question, I think it applies for sure. But I also know that stress, life, upbringing, getting punched in the mouth a bunch of times is going to make you different.
Mindset
Yeah.
matters. Like you can have, there's 60 cells, right, on the disc wheel, and you can have two people in the same cell. We have multiple people in the company like that, and I will show you and point that out. They're not the same person.
Sure. Right. Yeah.
They're not
it's
the
so
same person.
nuanced.
And, we talked earlier about not being aware of yourself or your environment. That's the reason, right? Like we have people that are incredible at what they do in the same cell as somebody else. One of them has a supportive home environment and one of them has a victim mentality environment. And they will show up differently to work every single day.
Sure.
Every single day. And like as a leader, that I pray a lot about that every single week and every single day, because again, we get so invested that we want everybody to thrive. and we can't change that environment.
Can't.
Yeah.
You know, we
Right.
can give them tools that can make them more resistant to the negativity or even borderline, you know, you could say abuse in some ways.
Sure.
Because that's what I think victim mentality is. Like it's self-abuse and it's annoying. And we can give them those tools, but we can't change that.
Sure.
You know, how do we say like your partner is the biggest part of your struggles?
Yeah, right.
Love you.
Victim mentality makes my
Hashtag at
skin
your work.
crawl.
And what is the easiest thing for people to get mad at?
Themselves.
Well, yes, right? They get down on themselves, but work is the easiest thing, right? Because society tells you that work is your problem. Society never tells you like, oh my gosh, you're blessed that you get to show up somewhere every day that pays 100% of your health care and make sure your bills are paid. But it does all that.
How do you feel? How do you really feel?
Right? So it's easy to be like, there's something wrong with me or the person that I love. There's something wrong with this work. This work environment is toxic. Like, no, boo-boo, I'm pushing you to be a better version of you. And you're struggling to see that.
Right.
There's a book called Extreme Ownership. And if you've never read it, I'll save you a read. Everything's your fault.
Literally. Everything's your
if you
fault.
take
You can
that, your
correlate
life
that
gets-
to like everything.
everything.
Yeah.
How much, and so it removes you from victim mentality. Because like how much strength do you actually get when you describe everything as your fault?
I mean, there's so many times like ever since we started, but ever since I kind of read about that, is like
You learned
it's-
it. You were about to say you learned
I
it.
learned it. You can, if something happens and it aggravates you, and you don't think it's your fault, you can follow that little rabbit trail and be like, oh yeah, it was me.
Yep, there it was.
There it
JK,
was.
that's where I contributed.
That's where that happened.
and it's
like,
likely
you
that
know,
you're not 100%, but you
Right.
were a part of it
Yeah.
Fingerprints are on everything.
in some way. And you don't have control of how other people respond and react. So just control to work around that. And if you do that every single day, you're removing the power that everyone else has over you. That, detachment.
Marcus Aurelius has a good line. He basically says, to paraphrase it for the young kids today, it's, you don't have to have an opinion on this.
You sound like my husband. He tells my kids that all the time. Thank you, but that doesn't affect you. So why do you have an opinion?
Exactly. Why? There's no point. But then you can rope that right back into behavior profiles, right? High D's don't really give a shit. I don't know if we can curse on this. Probably should have asked earlier.
I have never cursed on here.
Yeah, ever. Not once. But S's and C's, right? If it's not in the rule book, it's going to be a problem. If you're showing up and doing something that's not in my rules that make me feel safe, comfortable, and protected inside of my shell, then
You know what I
you're
did
Not good.
for all my SCs? Because, we have a law firm.
Taylor's
like,
laughing.
so, like, do you know how many CSs and SCs we have as a law firm?
Plenty.
And so I'm like, guess I created rules about my unruliness.
Good.
And like, so now it's like, they love it, accept it. Like, it's never going to come perfect, but I promise it'll have these things. And when it doesn't, you get me.
That's right.
And they're okay with it because they know it's coming every time.
We interviewed an SC yesterday, and we were like, we're going to lay all of the curse words out that you're going to hear here. And these are okay. Like, this is what you should expect when you come here.
These are okay. These are not okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said like one of the ways that you get your personality or your behavioral assessment can be influenced by your past experiences. And I think like growing up for me, like my dad never really said much to us, like from a disciplinary standpoint, right? If he did, it was very like, oh, you listen, you heard it, but he always led by example. And that, but he is a high D. When he takes the disc assessment, he ends up in the middle, and he knows it. He's like manipulates the whole thing. It's frustrating. It's
I
like,
think
Dad,
he's
can we
a
just
GT.
take?
How
Yeah,
do you
for sure.
even manipulate it to go all middle? I don't even understand.
Oh, you can
No,
absolutely do
he's-
that,
If
dude.
I have to tell myself, do this as fast as you can.
But do you
'Cause
like?
if not, I will.
Yeah, I don't even want
You
to take it anymore
contradict-
because I just think about it. the
Is,
whole
it,
time.
And that was
is that what
before.
happens? You think so much about it that like
Well, we just know
I just
it.
know I can figure out what you want to see, or like, I mean, this might be too much information, but whatever. It's like, what's the point of me taking it?
Correct.
Right? Is it self-discovery? Okay, well, I already know myself, so I don't need the disc to tell me.
and so I'm just gonna name it.
Is it for a job? Great. What are they looking for? Cool.
Yeah,
Let me
yeah,
influence
sure.
for this. Is it for anything? A role, a partner?
So
Like,
he manipulates it every time. But he is, I agree.
it
a
sounds
DC
bad when
or
you
a
say it like
CD.
that.
Do what?
It sounds bad when you say it like that.
Yeah. But he always led by example. Like, that's what he always did, right? My dad worked his butt off. He went to work every day, did the same things every day, showed up every day the same way, always had integrity, always like focused on the same thing, points whenever he was trying to make a point. When he said things, it was like, whoa, okay, I'm gonna pay attention to that. I was we were picking up something outside one day, and I picked up the American flag and I just kind of like stuck it on a shelf. And he was like, "That's how you do that." I'm like, "Yeah, but I gonna see it." He's like, "Oh, so that's how you're gonna live your life?"
Ooh, good line.
I know exactly where that came from.
Yeah.
Because you were so particular about the tents.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate. That's good.
I literally
But,
think
like,
about it. I think about that conversation every time I'm folding the tent. It's like, I could just shove this thing in the bag,
Yeah.
or I can. Fold
love
this.
that.
That makes
man.
complete sense, though.
That's so good.
Yeah.
And so like
My dad would be like, "Come here," and then he would beat us with the flag.
yeah, but so
Also,
like
serial killer.
I think like I tend to always want to lead that way. It's like I'm gonna show you how to do it. I'm gonna do it over and over again. And I show up every day. Like I mean, it's the same thing every single day. And that to me is how I want to lead. I don't like the empathy part of it. Sitting down and like talking about it and how like why and how can we work through it and maybe you can think about this different way. I'm like, no, we're just gonna show up and do it this way every time.
And on the Working Geniuses, that's one of your frustrations.
What?
The either galvanizing or enablement.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't mind the person who wants to continue to grow and they're trying to figure it out and like giving them the direction and the things that they're going to go do. It's the ones that are just like kind of that needs you to I don't know how to say it.
Gary Keller calls it cul-de-sac talent, right? So they just go round and around and around and around and around. No matter what you say, it could be the best breakthrough. They're going to sit down and be like, "Oh my gosh, this is exactly what I needed." And then 6 months later, they're doing the same thing. And you're like, what happened to that conversation? That was enlightening.
Yeah.
But that's you can sports analogies always help people out, right? Is someone coachable?
Yeah.
And that tells you whether they're A player, B player, C player. So it's not whether they can be a leader, it's not whether they contribute, but that's where it comes to standard. Like one of our values is excellence. Like you have to show up wanting to be a better version of yourself every single day, like built into leadership. Like if you ever are like, I feel like I've made it, you won't make it here. We'll annoy the hell out of you. And so it goes back to that person. So if you see that, it's not that they're not capable of being a leader, but not at our level.
Yeah, so that's a great way to say it, right? It's you guys, and forgive the reference, but you're the Navy SEALs. And so people aren't just
I'll
like,
take it.
you know,
I'll
it's not
take
like,
that.
hey, they
do
want
hard
to.
shit.
Yeah, they want to be it because
Yeah.
it looks cool from the outside. Then they get in the environment and you're like, wait, we've got to go on this ruck.
And look,
We gotta
and I try to
swim?
tell them all the time. I'm like, I promise you, it's like a lot. I'm super intense. He's super intense. And then like together, it's like super
Like, no,
intense.
yeah, I got it.
Well,
Then
the
like,
recheck's
They're like,
always
it looks so much fun on social media.
the recheck's always the best part. It's like, yeah, when we talked about doing this together at the beginning, like we said we were going to be the best. Now we are getting there, and it's that intensity level.
We are
every
the
day.
best, but we just
do you
keep
still
getting
want
better.
3 years in? Do you still want that?
That's a great
Do
question.
you still want it? Because back 3 years ago, whenever I was all fired up and gung ho and excited about it, motivated, did you want it? You wanted it then, but do you want it? You still want it every day? Do you want to
You
continue?
telling me
to
you're
put it?
getting weak?
No, I'm
Good
I'm
is
fine.
the enemy of great.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of companies settle for good because they turn out to be really good companies.
And it's much easier to have good people than to have great people.
It is
And
so
you can
much
get
easier.
attached to good people when you need great people. Or, the people that are pushing the standard, slowing down and taking the time to make the good people great.
A players do not want to be surrounded by B or C players. And I've seen that show up in organizations that I've coached to. I've seen that show up in my organization in the past. Like they just don't, because there's a different speed. If you're a cheetah and then it's cool at first to be running with an elephant. And then for a while you're like, dude, like I got all this horsepower, nowhere to go.
Is this a dichotomy? I mean, like seriously, when you're talking about wanting to go fast, like wanting to be with A players and go and go and go, and like that was my point earlier. Like, when is it the point where it crosses where you're like, okay, like we've been through this.
When they're not coaching up to the standard.
Yeah.
When they're not, from that.
Then it's like you're talking about the cross, but that's not necessarily a cross because the SCs can help give the DIs gas and
no, for
direction and things to make them run
And
faster.
like I
and
think what
stronger.
people do with the complementary behaviors is how simple it is when you're doing it on a small scale.
Yeah.
But when you get to the 32 people scale and you're picking leaders for each department, I think that's the struggle, because Jared does like boxes. As much as he thinks outside the box and problem solving, you do enjoy
love
things
that.
fitting nicely in a box. And so it's hard
cleaner.
to say that we're going to have a bunch of different leaders with different personalities, and they're all going to do the job well, and they can all maintain our standard, even though they're approaching it from a different place. And in having people collectively on board, that is a difficult task to do, and you got to be willing to put in the time to do it.
Because whenever you look at your business when you first get started and you build out the chart, right, and then you go and you go back 3 years later, and you look at, okay, it's the same structure going to get us to the next level? No. The habits you have now are not going to habits you get where you're going to be, right? You have to change.
Which
in
our
order to grow.
structure's changed tremendously.
Yeah, and
it's
so-
just the leadership roles.
For sure. So like when you get to that
Yeah.
point and you look at it again, as you re-look at the chart and you start like kind of adding more roles to the seats as you kind of grow, depending where you're at in your organization. And you're like, okay, like now the box that you're putting, that you build out for your role, because you don't put people in it first, right? You build the role. And then, in my opinion, and what we do is you try to put the behavioral assessment in the box, and then you try to find the people that fit the role, ideally, right?
In their natural style?
And yes, for sure. But when you look at the box now, it's like, that's like a DCSI. It's like,
But you do need a self-aware person to lead.
For sure.
Like that is the point. Like that person has to be willing to pull in, whether it's through a resource or observing blind spots, to understand the need of all of that.
Yeah, I guess like to make it clear for anybody who's listening, because I think we're driving, we're talking about it more. But like when you're looking at the role, right? If you're like, okay, we're gonna get to a point now where we're gonna have somebody in a leadership role that is now leading people that are doing the same tasks they're doing. And so like we say like 25% of your time is leadership, 75% of the time is the role that you were doing before, or that everybody else in that department is already doing. And so sometimes that role to do that does not directly lead to somebody who would be a leader, or they don't have the.
But they just don't have the
Oh,
skills
buddy,
yet.
you're about to open Pandora's box right here. Look at me in my eyeballs, people listening. One of the things that leaders make the worst mistake of, and it drives me absolutely bonkers, is they take their top performer and they put them in a leadership role and they think that that's going to make them
Say it
awesome.
louder
And
for
it is
people
the
back.
dumbest thing. Just because you can sell, just because
Don't
you can
take
excel,
out LeBron James.
does not mean that you can lead the team.
Yeah, you take Antonio Brown and have him coaching the wide receivers instead of just being like, let that dude run
would be
those
entertaining.
corners.
But you could also have the person that
entertaining.
raises their hand and says, I want that and I'm ready to transition and I lean into it.
Yeah.
That is a possibility.
They could also
but
be
they
wrong.
have to be correct. It has to be true. And they have to be able to train people to their standard so that you don't lose that A player. So like it can all happen and that doesn't fit in a box. But by all means, how much does that happen on sales teams?
All the time.
That is the
All the
number one
time.
mistake in business on sales teams. They do it all the time. That person goes, because most people that are good at sales, and I don't mean this, I mean this in a wholehearted, loving way. They are self-absorbed because, you know, they want to be liked. They want to make that sale. They're very invested in the task that they are doing. All of those things make them really good at sales. So when you ask them to remove and become a servant leader,
It's terrible.
it's asinine to them, and flipping in between those roles makes it really confusing. Plus, they're so used to being a high performer that when they start leading someone that isn't yet a high performer,
Drives them crazy.
they're just like, bye.
They have low empathy.
Yeah.
They're like, I just don't understand why they don't get it.
Yeah. And I think what the internet has done is they have 20 seconds, 15 seconds, 30 seconds to give a clip. And so they give such a limited box of knowledge that they think people fit into. This is what a CEO is. This is what an operator is. This is what a salesperson is. This is what a tech person is. This is what a founder is. Like, okay,
Yeah, cool. Thanks, Sherlock.
great.
Yeah.
Great. And then now
here's
we
my
have
course.
droves of people trying to do this. And then they have communities of CEOs telling each other to do stupid things.
It's wild to
Like-
me. And I'm a CEO that tells other CEOs what to do. And that's one of the things I say don't do. I don't give a crap if your sales performer or your top sales leader wants to be a leader and they truly are not in alignment with it. Like, don't seek the treasure because it's going to go down. And you're going to alienate the rest of your team.
Literally, they can't be liked and they're not trusted, so no one follows.
Yeah. And it's sales in general, like insurance, real estate, mortgage lending. I mean, you name it. It
Financial
happens.
advising,
financial
cars,
advising.
yeah.
Yeah,
I could
everything.
keep going.
They're like, oh, dude, she sold $500 million. Like,
She's going to teach everybody how to do it.
It's gonna be so
No,
good.
she's not. She's going to be like, I'm going to be better than all of you. And they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, she's like, just do what I'm doing. Why aren't you getting it? Just do what I'm doing. Because I don't know, maybe behavioral assessment doesn't line up with it.
Yeah. Leadership's hard.
Leadership's very hard. It's one of the most challenging and most rewarding things. Me and our director of operations were having a conversation the other day. And I've been able to share this recently because it seems to be a theme that keeps popping up. And she was like, I'm so sorry that you had to deal with that. Like, this is a really tough conversation you have to have. And I'm sorry that you have to deal with that. I said, I'm not. She's like, what do you mean? Why are you not? That sucks. I said, you can't say that you want to be the king and then complain when you have kingly duties to do.
Say it again.
Like, what are you talking about? Like, it's part of the role. Can't be the king. And then when it's time to be the king, You complain about being the king.
I don't like this. It's so much hard stuff. It's what you signed up for.
Right. Congratulations.
It's what you show up for every single day.
That's how, when people complain about it, it's like, isn't that what we asked for?
Yes.
Isn't that what we literally asked for?
Be careful what you wish for because it has an odd way of becoming true.
Mm-hmm.
When you make up your mind to do something, the universe conspires in your favor, right? The alchemist.
Mm-hmm.
Makes it a lot harder to complain too, because you're like, well, that's what I wanted. Let's just move on.
And then if you're not complaining and you actually see it as gratitude, how different is your life?
Yeah, 100%.
Choose your hard.
I tell people that have a driver personality that are wanting to move fast and things are growing. We had this conversation. I'm like, when you feel that you want to move faster and you feel that you're handcuffed, write down 3 things that we've improved on in the last 3 months, last 6 months, last year. I think we talked about that as well in our
That's
team.
a great one.
Like, because it redirects you into we're moving in the right direction. So I'm not handcuffed. It's just my personality, and you can acknowledge it and continue to push. And then self-assess. Are we slow because I'm not communicating my vision clearly? Are we slow because I'm not showing up the way I'm supposed to be showing up? Extreme ownership. When you start acting like that, that's when you start moving. Keep blaming. Keep blaming. Stay where you are. Keep blaming.
That's why I say leadership or the behavioral assessments are a tool, not the rule, because you can be like whatever box that your job fits in for that behavior, and they're not self-aware, they're not accountable, they're going to be not good.
Yep.
They're going to fail at some point. Your guys' standard that you're applying to everybody of excellence and of service, it's going to go by the wayside at some point. When it gets too stressful, when they can't keep up with the pace, it's going to crumble.
Yeah, they're cracking.
Yeah, they're going to crack.
They're cracking.
That's right.
People are cracking right now. And
Right now, what's their name?
And they have a choice to make. They all know.
You like that?
Everybody knows. I mean,
do.
you know, it's obvious who's cracking.
One of the cool things I think
You
about
cracked
leadership.
for a little bit. You're made whole again. I love it.
You're made whole again?
Yeah.
Right? We all have. Like, I don't say that as a bad thing. Like,
I don't think it's wrong
those
to
things
crack.
make you better. I've cracked.
Yeah.
Like, no one should be like, oh my God, I don't ever crack. We talked about that in the beginning, right? If someone's telling you that, they're lying,
They're lying.
right?
If
when
you're
you
not cracking, you're not improving.
When you can acknowledge that you've cracked and that you've chosen to show up and be better and make the changes that are required, you're winning.
There's because we talked about Ikigai earlier, there's a Japanese art form called kintsugi, right? And so it's
Wait, hold on.
basically...
Whoa. Okay, the same person said this word to me in the last couple of days.
Really? Wow. Must be a
tell me more
God wink.
about it.
Pay
It's
attention.
because you started playing that game.
Mahjong. No, it's not why.
Mahjong. So if I took this pot and let's say we're in a traditional family in Japan, and then the pot breaks, right? Here in the West, it's like, oh, throw it out. Like, that sucks. Oh, well, we'll go get a new one. In Japan, let's say you broke it. I would take it. I would bring it to a local artisan, and they use this almost golden glue, and they put it back together, right? And the piece,
of art.
I then get to present it to you and be like, hey, check this out. And it's even more beautiful than when it started.
Wow.
So it's this whole beautiful thing of like, hey, man, the broken pieces put back together the right way, that thing now becomes art and not a tragedy or a travesty is what we would see it in the West.
I love
Kintsugi.
it. But it's
Kintsugi.
true.
Okay, no, the word I was hearing was muskogi. That's a different.
Misogi. So a misogi is different. A misogi
Isn't
is
that a lyric in a song? Muskogee?
I teach on this too. So
I thought we said a Muskogee. I thought we were talking about a duck.
from
But that's a not a muskogi.
feudal Japan, where ancient samurai warriors would embark on a journey, and
Yes.
back in that time, they would do something like bathe under a waterfall, right? Shedding new skin, doing something that was
Like a snake.
leaving their old life behind and moving forward. Now with Jesse Itzler and stuff, it's kind of turned into like an annual challenge, doing
Yeah.
something so hard that it rewires like who you are, what you believe, the way that you live your life.
Got it. Okay.
You and my husband are not allowed to talk.
I think it would be fantastic.
Fantastic friends.
Besties for
You,
the
Jonah, and
resties.
It'd be a
Jason
very
in
heady
a room.
conversation.
Dude, I love
Y'all would.
A lot
I don't
going on.
have
Y'all need a
time for the
podcast.
shallow end, man.
Yeah.
Like this
He
life is
literally
deep.
wears a band like our arena band, and it says in Latin, "Go deep."
I have one that says Memento Mori, Memento Vivere, but I can't take it off.
Inked up.
Yeah.
I noticed they put their sleeves in the front, so like we have to sit in the back because we're not tatted.
I mean, we like to give the viewers what they desire.
Yeah, I'll get
Hashtag art.
artwork one day.
My kids are gonna have tattoos all over their bodies. They see Mr. Jonah.
Laney, dude, she draws on herself every day.
Have I ever showed y'all the
Crazy.
Jocelyn's swim meet days?
Yeah.
They had a mom that started bringing binders, and the kids would put like Mickey Mouse and stuff. My daughter comes, and she had a thigh tat that went from her knee up her hip and a neck tat.
It's like a
Like
dragon.
this. And she was like, look how amazing crazy mode. I was like, girl, you're killing it. That is Jocelyn. That is number 2.
Did you say slay?
Slay.
It wasn't popular
girl.
then, you know, back in the 1900s. No.
Oh my goodness.
Well, this conversation went.
I don't even know if we hit our desired target.
Did
but it
we
was
talk
great.
about behavioral assessments?
No, I think we did.
enjoyed
I
it.
mean, you know, from we've talked about assessments and how you use it as a tool to grow your team, but like looking at it from a leadership perspective and like the dynamic of that was a cool.
Here's the best part about being a leader, and this one is free. If you can't lead yourself, you can't lead others. So, there
Drop
you
the
go.
mic.
I'll just leave that right there.
We're stopping. Bye.
Drop the mic. Clock it.
Clock
Clock
it.
it. Thanks for coming
Clock that.
on In the Arena podcast, Kyle. You killed it, buddy.
Thanks for having me.
And we're now all canceled for being old and clocking it.